Hello, ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities, and identities, and welcome back to another film review. And today's film review is none other than Rambo, or as I prefer to call it, Rambo 4. So, what exactly is the plot of Rambo 4? Well, essentially, Rambo is in the Philippines and he has decided to cut himself off from the world entirely. After saving his captain from the incident in Afghanistan, he's decided he wants to go back to the quiet life. Maybe having a couple spars, maybe just relaxing, and maybe just taming one of the fiercest snakes on earth, the Cobra. A Christian retreat turns up to Rambo's town. So this time it has nothing to do with essentially the military, but more to do with a pilgrimage. It turns out that these Christian preachers believe that they can have the hand of God over the Philippines and over the people in the valleys. Little do they know that little gangs of boys or men have been grooming, raping, and most importantly, taking the mick out of their own people. They're savages. They are absolute barbarians. And yet these Christians who are on this pilgrimage believe themselves to be above that. They believe that they can change the way of gunfire and war and bloodshed. However, they soon wake up to the notion that not everything can be fixed with a prayer. This is when they watch an entire village get slaughtered in front of their very eyes. Half of the team is pretty much wounded and taken for capture, whilst one woman manages to go back to the town and find Rambo. Rambo points out to her that he has no intention of getting involved, he didn't want anything to do with it in the first place, and he had pretty much warned her from the beginning of the film that it was a never-ending mission that would end in failure. However, she's adamant on using her faith to the best of her ability to try and convince Rambo to change his mind. However, faith has nothing to do with it. Rambo is sick and tired of the people and gangs on the rivers taking advantage of the people in the villages. He believes that these people have pretty much signed their own death warrant, and hereby Rambo decides that it's time to draw blood once again. Rambo goes on an absolute rampage, managing to save a lot of people from the terrorization of the river gangs. However, he finds himself jumping around like a maniac, shooting bows and arrows, and infiltrating the camp from the inside. He also sadly has to witness the most darker sides of humanity as he watches them take advantage of the children from the village, the girls, the daughters, the sons, and so many more, just out of lust for power. After remembering his time in the Vietnam War, Rambo finds himself in a scene with flashbacks where Rambo's going down the river on a boat, and all of a sudden he just has nightmares. The woman who is trying to get him to help her find her crew doesn't quite understand why Rambo's like this. However, Rambo, as it's shown in a couple flashbacks, remembers the time way before he had the peaceful life. He remembers the time with his fellow army cadets. He remembers going into the town in the very first Rambo. He remembers Afghanistan, and he remembers the time he was set up. And all these dark memories have lived with Rambo ever since. So, Rambo 4. What did I think of this film? Honestly, I really like it. Not only just the fact that it shows a more darker side to the world and really gut wrenches out this idea of Rambo going on an absolute killing spree, but I love the idea of Rambo kind of pointing and pushing this issue that faith and religion, although a great token of healing for people, doesn't necessarily mean that it can fix all the problems in the world. And although Rambo's methods are drastic, he's being realistic. He's living in the chaos, and he's essentially waking up Hell's Kitchen. And for that reason, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Not only for all of the great plot points I pointed out, but the flashback really goes into detail and sticks to the core point of the Rambo trilogy. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next film review. Until then, stay beautiful and have an incredible night.